In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a login system for PHP for beginners. So if you look at the website, what I'm on, there's no register box, no login system or anything like that. So I've got some code prepared. So if we go and edit the index file, which is the home page, and you can put this bit of code in here. I'll leave the code in the description or comment underneath the video, and I can paste the code to you. Right, this bit of code here is a form which will allow a user to register, which initially gives them an account to log in. I'll save the website. We refresh the website, and as you can see, you've got a username, password, register, and account. So for example, if we register an account, code test as the user, code test as the password, and we'll copy that, paste it in, username, password, register an account. It don't actually do anything, it's just another page I created called register.php, which I'll show the code further into the video. So what we need to do is hit back. You need to create a database first where you're going to store these details. By storing the details, it allows the user to log in to the website or log into your members area, your hidden content, etc. So if we go to cPanel, this is your main sort of cPanel if you're using cPanel hosting. If you're using Plesk or something else, it may be a bit different. And we'll go to MySQL databases, and we'll create a new database, and we'll call it DB1. Create a database. Go back. Then we need to create a new user. We'll call that this test1, and give it a password. Nice strong password. And create the user. Hit go back. Right, now we'll add the user to the database. So we click add. This is very important. You need to add the user to the database so it can access the database. We'll give it all privileges because we don't know what really we want the user to do yet. So if we give them all privileges, it can pretty much do everything. Make changes. Close that, hit back. Right, so we've created the database. That's probably the most important step because you need to store the user name and password somewhere. So if we go to the databases, back there, we go to this, PHP My Admin. This is where you can configure the database. Right, the database has no tables in it, which means it's empty. So we need to create a table to store the username, password, which allows the user to log in. So if we call the table users, I'm going to give it 3 columns and click go. you'll come to a page like this. The first column you come to, I'm going to call it ID, and we're going to make this an int, values 11. We're going to make this the primary key, and we're going to auto increment it, because as users get added to a database, they have to be given an ID. So say user 1 gets added, their ID will be number 1. Another user comes along and registers, they'll be given ID number 2. Another user comes along and registers, they'll be given number 3, etc. So you have to use auto increment and make this the primary key. That's very important. So the next step will be username, and we'll give this variable character, and I'll make it 50. So that's plenty decent size for a username. Next one, password. We'll give this again variable character. I'll make this 250. So that's quite long, because we're going to encrypt the password anyway, so it needs to be quite long. Click save. As you can see, if you click browse here, got nothing, but we've got a table called users, where when we register, it should go into here. And if it goes into there correctly, you're good to go. Right, so we go back to the website. We don't want to click this just yet. I want to show you the code. So if we go back to our code, and I'll show you the register file. Now here is the register file. This bit of code will insert the data that a user creates, like username and password, and it will put it into the database. And it will just say something like, thank you for registering, your membership ID is, and then it will give them the ID number using auto increment, and then you can put a please login box below here. But if we go back up to the code, right here you've got include con.php. Now this one line of code can go in all your files exactly the same. This bit of code here is basically just a piece of connection code to connect you to your database. So if we look at the code, this is your database connection code. Not much to it. You've got your database user, password, and database name. So you've got password, database user, W9. I don't mind you seeing this password because I'll delete it after this video and change it. So if we go back to the register, here we'll go to the index, and I'll explain what this bit of form does. This bit of code here is actually this, from username, password, and register an account. It's just a form, HTML form, and it starts like this. So it's a post, which means people post. When they click the action, click the register an account, it takes them to a file called register.php. Username, I'll give it the name username, because I'll keep it the same, it's easy to remember, etc. Password, name, password. Register account is the button, which you'll see there, right there. So go to the register file. This is the username, using a post with a MySQL real escape string. The username equals username. We've assigned it that variable username. We trimmed the username in case a user puts some space on the end, blank space. So we trim it, and again the same with the password, and we give the variable password. This bit of security code I've added in here stops SQL injection attacks, but stops stupid people trying to hack your database, their petty methods. So down here a bit further, we encrypt the password before adding it to the database. So we use assault. The password's a variable. Password using this crypt. This basically scrambles this and gives it a password which is encrypted. We insert it into the database using this query. This query insert into users, username, password. You can copy all this code, or I can comment below and I can paste it in for you, and then you can use the code, or you can get it from the website. Values, username, password, ending of the query, and this is the ID which we mentioned in auto increment. So there you go, that registers it. So we'll save to website as register, and we'll register an account by clicking this button. There you go, your membership ID is number 1. If you go up here and we click the database, and we click, you can see there's 1 in there, so we click browse. There you go, look at that. We've got the ID number 1, username is code test, and the password is encrypted. That's exactly what we want. So that's the first step. You've actually allowed a user to register, but they can't log in yet. So we need to hit back. So on this page now, I need to create a login box, which I'll put just underneath here. It can be, I'll create it using the same form as what we had before. Put some line breaks in there. Put a form in here, except this time we'll change this. Instead of register, we want to give them a file called login.php. Again, they'll put in a username, a password, and we'll change this to say login to your account, save to website, and we'll hit F5, refresh it. There you go, we've got this here now. Log into your website, log in to your account. So we need a file called login.php, which I've created to save time. So again, we include the connection file, username, password. We don't need to trim it this time because they know the username, they know the password. So we unencrypt the password to allow access to the database. So we get this out, password, and then we go here. Select, we run this select query. We select from usernames where username equals username and password is password. If there's a match, we give the username row a variable called username, and then we start a session, which is this here. Username, grab the username from the results set. I don't know why that bit of code's in there, but anyway, I'll take it out. Session, username from the variable, and send them, redirect to loggedin.php, and else we'll send them to an error page. So that's our login file. Save that to website. Go back to the website. So we've gone back to the website and we've put in our username and password that we registered, which are stored in here. So you can change this if you want to. You can have stars using HTML. You can make this display as stars, so the password's hidden. You know, most websites do this. This is just an example of how to create a login system in PHP for beginners. I can do an advanced version. If you have any comments at all on how it works or anything else, or you need the code, please comment below. And if you like my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell. And if obviously if you need the code, comment and I'll give you access to the code. Right, so if you click this login to your account, it's going to take us somewhere. So by clicking this, it's got to take us somewhere. So we're going to go back to our FTP. Right, back to our FTP, and we click login. Right, once we log in, it's going to take us to a file called loggedin.php. If there ain't a match and we try to log in, it's going to send them to an error page. I need to create this page yet, but for the focus of this, we'll just take it to loggedin.php. So we'll create the file. Right, this is the file that they'll come to when they're logged in. And when they log in, it'll say welcome, and it'll be the username that created. In my case, it's code test. It'll say you have successfully logged in. You can log out by clicking this link. So basically they can log in and log out. At the top of the file, you want to put the session start, because when you go back to your login.php file, you create the session only if there's a match of a username and password. We create the session here, and you give the session a session variable here. So if we go back to logged in, if there's a session username, if there's not, sorry, a session username, it takes them back to the home page, which I wrote here, and it exits script. If there's a session, then they're allowed to access this page. We give them a variable here, which I'm going to say welcome here. And if they try to access this page, this URL called loggedin.php without a session, they'll just get redirected and they won't be able to access it. So we'll save it to the website and we'll test it out. So now we'll log into the website. Here you go. Welcome code test. You have successfully logged in. You can log out by clicking this link. There's nothing much in here at the moment, but you can put anything in here. You could put content that you want to sell, hidden content, or access to a members area. This could be a members area. You could branch off from this and you could start it using this code. So you can branch off. It's really, really, really good. So if we click, I'll copy this top bit here, logged in.php. So if we click log out, says you've been logged out, and we click go back. There you go. It takes us back to the home page. Now I'm going to try and be a bit sneaky to test the code, and I'm going to say paste that in there, logged in, but I ain't actually logged in because my details are blank. We click login. There you go. It just redirects back to the home page. They cannot access that page without logging in. So that's how it really works. They have to log in. So if we create a new user to test it again, we'll create a new user here. So I'll quickly just go and edit these. We'll call this new user, we'll say code test 1 and code test 1 as the password. So the username is code test 1 and the password is code test 1. So we'll register here, code test 1, and we'll give a password called code test 1. Let's register. Right, so we've registered. It says thank you for registering. Your membership ID is number 2. Please log in below. So I'll need to put a file here, a login bit of code here, but that's pretty simple. You can get that from that index file and paste that in there. And we go back to our database and browse. We've got 2 users in there now, which is really good. Actually, I'm going to put the bit of code in there now. So if I go back to the index and we want to grab this bit here, code log into your account, and it was on the register. So I'll put thank you for registering, please log in below, and we'll put it there. This is the file to log in, so we'll save to website, register, and we'll hit back and register something else. We'll register another user, go test 2, go test 2 to register an account. There you go. Thank you for registering. Your membership ID is free. So we'll third users, put number 3 in there, and we'll put in their details. Go test 2, go test 2. Put that in. Log in. Go test 2. In. Log into your account. There you go. Welcome Code Test 2. You have successfully logged in. You can log out by clicking this link. Log out. But if we test it and fire up a new page, paste that in there, logged in, still logged in. But if we log out, close that one, go back to this one, refresh this page, it's already logged us out because it destroys the session. When they click that log out, you destroy the session and you can't access that page. If I paste it back in the address bar, cannot access it, redirects it back. So that's basically it, how to create a login system, and you can put anything there. If you have any questions on how I did it, you need to access the code, please comment below and I'll give you details, or I'll give you a link on my website where you can access all the code and you can use this on your own website. Any questions, please comment below and subscribe should you want to. Thanks for watching my video.